Test. Test. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Opening face-off is about 43 minutes away.
Broncos lacrosse season here on APN Video. And with the ALL regular season complete, the focus turns to out-of-state teams. And tonight, the Spire Academy outside of Cleveland, Ohio, are visitors to Arizona on their spring break trip to take on the Brophy Broncos. Brophy is winners of their last three, including a big win over Corona and then a victory over Bellevue of Washington outside of Seattle. Tonight, the Spire Academy team is here after last year the team squared off in Spire's first ever lacrosse game here on the Brophy Sports Complex. To preview tonight's game, let's listen to senior defenseman Todd Baldiga, especially after Brophy's dominant defensive performance against Corona.
Defense talking, that's really helping us just play as a team, and our offense. I think especially last week against Chandler, we knew that was a big game, two undefeated teams. I think we're on a roll. I think we moved some guys around and we got our defense talking. That's really helping us just play as a team, and our offense is clicking. They're moving the ball, scoring goals left and right, which is what we've always needed.
You know, you're a senior and you've had an outstanding career. What kind of an influence do you try to have on maybe the freshmen and the sophomore, the underclass?
With the younger guys, I just want them to remember that lacrosse is pretty fun. At the end of the day, I feel like I've always played my best when I'm having fun with it. And I think that kind of started with our culture, playing as a team, loving each other like brothers, being a big family. Right on the field, you can kind of do no wrong together. So just playing as a team, and it's a lot of fun with them. So that's what I try and pass down.
Baldiga and the Brophy defense, a dominant performance against Chandler in the last outing on Thursday night, a 13-5 win, which gave Brophy the regular season Arizona Lacrosse League Championship and the #1 seed in the playoffs. A performance that held a high-powered Chandler offense to only 5 goals, really 4 goals. The last one came in the last 6 seconds of the game, and Nate Lacrosse, that defensive performance is one that we will look to replicate here this evening.
Yes, we will. And tonight it's a great night out. Actually, it's a little bit overcast, but still about 75, 80 degrees out. We're going to have a great time, and I bet you all the guys from Ohio are happy to be playing out here in some really good weather. But, yes, from the last game, I think taking away the way that the defense played was extremely very stout. There was some good communities that were going on out there, which was impressive, and they kept one of the best, if not the best, midfielder in the state to only 1 goal, and that was within the last 10, 12 seconds of the game. So to hold a high-powered offense like Chandler in check for the entire game was an incredible feat for this defense. So we've seen a lot of good things out of this defense the last 3 games. This is a 4th game here against Spire that we hope to see the tremendous output from this defense and an offensively continue to move the ball and look for the great shot.
Opening faceoff here goes to Spire. In goal for Brophy tonight is sophomore Brady Baltzel getting the start. Ryan Peitzmeyer had a stellar game with 9 saves against Chandler. He has earned the night off, or at least the start off. Coach Harbison wants to get some of the other goaltenders in out-of-state action, so look for Baltzel and maybe C.J. Wendell to play in the second half. And here we go with Spire, the first possession of the game. Tonight we are playing with a shot clock, as they do in college. Nice save there by Baltzel. That means an 80-second possession from the time a team receives the ball. On a reset, it will be reset to 60 seconds after the ball hits the goaltender. So that's what we're looking at tonight. We'll speed the game up. We'll see more shots throughout the game, maybe some more turnovers too, but mimicking what they do in college play. So we'll be calling out the shot clock a little bit more than we're accustomed to giving that to you. And here, Spire will have 27 seconds on the restart after that shot did miss the cage. In order to activate a clock reset, it has to be saved or hit the crossbar.
Brophy here on defense looks like they're starting to pack it in versus pressing out for right now. They're going to press out on the ball. There looks like they're going to deny what's called adjacent, which is next to the ball, where you have big number 21, Todd Baldiga, and Zach Lacoste is pressing out on with the ball carrier. So they're going to force the ball carrier to make a decision and try to move without a simple pass is what they're doing right here.
This is Anthony Bardinelli, number 4 with the ball. He's a commit for Hampton University in Virginia. Nice defense by Dane Helt to strip the ball clear. And in the melee, it goes out of bounds. It will be 11 seconds on the shot clock for Spire. Spire in black uniforms with red numerals. Brophy in white jerseys with the black shorts.
Great team defense right there to swarm the ball. Ball's on the ground. And it's an all-out blitz to go after it. There we have Zach Lacrosse forcing the Dodger down the alley and actually pushing him out, so it takes away that angle. Brady with a good save. Scott, you mentioned Brady as a sophomore, graduates in 2027, plays at a really, really high level in multiple different club teams, and this is a great opportunity for him to come out here and shine.
Brophy's first opportunity on the 6-on-6. 2 minutes into the game. And we'll see how they set up in a substitution right now.
Coach Pat's probably going to want the team to focus, at least initially, in moving the ball through or around the perimeter a couple of different times to get into the offensive set. A couple of reasons why you do that is you want to see how the defense is going to play, how they're going to move, how they're going to slide, how they're communicating, so that you can identify which part of the defense to attack.
Through X, here's Tate Lacoste. Trying to get his hands free. Good patience there. Swing it over to Ben Geist. Geist from the top left. He is a natural righty.
When Brophy moves the ball really quick and hot, so it's not in their stick more than 2 seconds, they tend to find the right player with the right shot.
Almost a turnover on Brophy, but 5 seconds remaining, so the Broncos will have to go quick to get a shot here. Again, up. Instead, they opt to throw the ball away, take the turnover there for the shot clock violation, and Spire will take over with the length of the field to go as Brophy substitutes into its defensive and riding formation.
Some of you may be wondering why in the world did Ben Geist throw it away? Oh.
So Brophy was in a 10-man ride there and got caught as a deep clear to Anthony Bardinelli caught the goaltender out of cage, and he saw an opening and found it as Spire takes an early 1-0 lead 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that was an excellent shot. Earlier, what I was saying, Scott, is when you see a lacrosse player throw the ball in the corner or throw it away, even though there's 5 seconds left, some of you may say, well, like in basketball, why don't you just take the shot? The reason why is because if you shoot it and the goalie stops it, then it can transition into a fast break and you're not set up. So you throw the ball, you dump the ball in the corners, they say, so you're forcing the team to clear it 100 yards. This time, Brophy was trying to work on the 10-man ride. Spire made him pay and hit a great shot from the outside. The ground balls are going to be, again, always a critical point of any game. Face-off is a critical part of the game. It's part of the special teams, if you will, of lacrosse. So we're going to be looking for Jack Rossoni and freshman Corbin Ruschenberger to really excel at this against a tough Spire team.
2 for 2 face-offs for Ami Macbeth from Pocadella, Idaho. He's a commit to Lynchburg, which is a top 20 Division III school. He has won the two early face-offs for Spire. Again, this Spire team is out of the suburbs of Cleveland and Geneva, Ohio. They are represented by 15 different states and countries on its roster, which is 23 deep. And a shot and a goal. That's 51 Liam Lutza, who's from outside of the Toronto area, and he is a commit to Drexel University in Philadelphia, a top Division I school. They've oftentimes been in the top 20 themselves, but 2-0 Spire on that left-handed take.
That was a great take by the Dodger right there. He's coming in, he's sweeping across the left, he's looking inside for the pass or for a skip pass. We didn't have the right slide in place, and so he basically did a little what we call a hesitation and then cut right back down the alley for a nice shot. So great job by the Dodger and the scorer right there. Got a false start on Brophy, which usually means that our face-off went early. So that's a turnover, and it will go to Spire.
Spire with 3 straight face-off wins, the opposite of how Brophy handled the situation against Chandler last week when Grissoni was 15 of 17 at the face-off X. Tonight an early 3-0 start for Spire in face-offs.
Good on-the-ball defense right there by Taub. When the ball hits the ground, a lot of times you're going to see that defender go out and attack that ball and put that pressure on the offensive player to pick it up. Very good defense right there to force the turnover. And that's what we want to see when you're playing that aggressive defense. A lot of times, yes, you're trying to strip the ball from the offensive player if you can, but really what you're trying to do is make that offensive player get it out of his stick and move the ball and pass. Then you're increasing the odds that the ball is going to get on the turf, and if the ball gets on the turf, then it's anybody's ball.
Harrison Yu on the clear here. A little bit of an up-high hit. Lodged it loose.
Great team defense right there by Spire to play man ball. One guy taking Harry out and the other guy going for the ball. So good, very good job right there by Spires.
Well, that'll be a turnover on... Not sure what they're calling here.
I don't know if they called, if the ref called his own time to make check on the player. Obviously, he took a pretty good hit. I don't think that was malicious or intended to be that hard. The players just working hard and ran into each other right there.
So Spire will take possession of the ball with 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter and a 2-0 lead. This is Lusa, who scored the game's second goal. Big, tall lefty. Nice feed on the crease right there. Zach Wright finding Bardinelli on the crease, but the ball saved by Boltzel. And here comes Maddox Ranley over to Josh Busey, to Friedman for the shot. Goes wide. Nice transition by Brophy, who will retain possession with 71 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, very good transition by Maddox Ranley right there with the speed to get it down. Good decision, good pass. Shot just went a little bit wide, but very good transition.
Transition offense has been a strength for Brophy all year long. One of the things that is routinely pointed out by opposing coaches as one thing they have to stop. This is Tate Armstrong, 6'6" lefty, midi, taking a right-handed shot wide, and it will remain Brophy possession. Their third shot upcoming here of the short possession.
Yeah, you don't see Tate shoot right-handed too often, Tate Armstrong, but I like to see that rollback and add that to his repertoire. And good hustle by Tate Lacrosse to go get the ball. Those of you watching who don't not too familiar with lacrosse, it's the player that's closest to the ball on a shot when it's going out of bounds. So that's why Tate was chasing after it, so that he could get possession of the ball for his team.
Third turnover already for Brophy this evening. That was a moving pick, akin to in basketball. You're allowed to set picks. They just cannot be moving. And that one was, so Spire gets possession and easily clears it forward.
Nice clear by Spire right there across field and then downfield. 2 quick passes to get it down to their offensive set. The turnover, Scott, is something that Brophy has got to get into check. This is something that could bite them in the future.
Open man, lefty Zach Wright, another one of those Toronto natives. Shot goes wide, and Coach Harbison will call timeout, not liking the openings that the Spire shooters are getting. So he calls timeout to try and get the defense reset.
Yeah, offensively, what Spire's doing a pretty good job at is hitting that skip pass right there. They had to hit, they hit a skip pass, meaning it's going across the field or passing by another the player that's closest to the ball. They're skipping it across the field to the next player. And right there, even though Zach Lacoste, number 3, collapsed on him pretty quick, he still has a better shot because it's not technically his man. So it's passing, is a skip passing over the defense, and that's offensively what you want to try to do anyway. Is if you can hit that skip pass, it opens up what's called a time and space shot, where the offensive player has the opportunity to set his feet and really get a good shot off.
The skip pass comes into play when the ball movement is quick overall on the team. So that's the difference between a stagnant offense and one where the ball moves. When the ball moves, you're able to find the hot guy in an offensively advantageous position, which you saw right there from Spire. They have a few lefties. Naturally, when you're coming from Canada, you're going to find some lefty players. And this roster has 4 from the Toronto area who have all known each other since the 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah, it's great to have that kind of chemistry on the field. Even though you're coming to a new school, you're still playing together with your fellows, with your boys, and so to have that team chemistry growing up since that age, that really does bode well for you, especially on the offensive side.
So Spire will get the ball out of bounds with 48 seconds remaining on the shot clock and 5:22 here in the opening quarter. A 2-0 lead, and definitely a shot advantage already. Brophy really only has 2 shots, one wide, or both of them wide. That one on the transition and the Tate Armstrong right-handed shot. Brophy comes back and pressing out all the way to midfield.
Yeah, the idea here is to make the pass really difficult to do, or you're going to force the ball carrier to have to try to dodge to open something up. The dangerous part about that is it creates a long slide if he beats you.
Nice tip pass there by the Brophy defense into the cradle of Brady Baltzel. And here comes Zach Lacrosse, naturally a short stick player, but has been pressed into emergency duty to play long pole on the defense. Handles it nicely, and Brophy on the clear here.
Yeah, that's an excellent job by Zach. Is only his 4th game playing long pole, but the stick skills is really helpful, and you can see it right there on that transition.
Maddox Renly with a shot and saved by Spire, and Spire is the one inspiring transition here tonight. Moving the ball quickly, getting Brophy's defense out of position.
Good stick check there by Zach Lacoste. Put the ball on the ground and slow that offense down a little bit. Great save right there by Brady. Stepping in front of him with his body to stop that ball. So excellent job by Brady. Step outside of the cage a little bit to make that stop. Great job.
And the important part was Brophy's defense was there to collect it once the ball missed. The team gets possession, which is closer to the ball when it goes out of bounds. In that instance, it was the Broncos.
Yeah, great team D, and great job with the transition defense. Even though they cleared the ball fairly easily, Brophy got back on defense to stop that fast break. Here, Brophy's going to sub on, so they're going to move the ball around, allow the subs to get back on and get set up in their offense. Let's see if they try to get some dodges from the wings. They haven't tried to attack from the wings yet. So here we go, Eli from the wing. Dodging right down the alley, takes it in.
And he scores.
Great shot by Eli. And Scott, exactly what he just said, is trying to get you want to try to get your offensive players that can dodge and shoot right or left on the wings. The reason why is because they can sweep right or up top. Eli made his move to try to go top side, which means go to the middle and take it right across the middle and to shoot right-handed. However, the defender did a good job and forced him down the left alley. However, when you're playing against a player like Eli that can go and switch to his left, then he's wide open right straight to the cage. We saw that against Chandler and Matthew Lightman. Same spot, same exact move, went down, took in his left hand and made the shot. So great job right there.
Defender really concerned about not allowing middle, and Eli took advantage with that space. And here we go, Grissoni with the first face-off win for tonight for Brophy. And transition in there. Beautiful save on the doorstep. And we have a flag upcoming on Spire for a cross-check from behind. Let's see if Brophy can take advantage.
Beautiful feed from Busey to Tate Lacoste on pretty much an alley-oop. A nice play by the goalie there. But great recovery by Jack Grissoni to pick up the ball and save possession.
Here, Brophy in a 6-on-5. Ranley with the shot. Unfortunately, right at the goalie who made the save. But yeah. Brophy will go man up here with 2:47, looking to tie this game at 2-2.
Yeah, good save. And, for Maddox flying in like that, he didn't have anybody on him, so he saw the shot and he took that knowing that he's going to get the ball back. So it was on cage. It was a good shot. The goalie made a great play. And he changed his plane. We talked about that last game against Chandler. Anytime the offensive player is shooting, what you'll hear is that they want to change planes. So he was going overhand, shooting it overhand and bounce, trying to go low. Making that goalie switch and go from high to low was a good idea from Maddox, and goalie went down and made a great save.
So we have a 30-second push here, which means Brophy has to move quickly in order to capitalize on this man up, move the ball fast, and get the defense out of position.
Move it, look for the cutters. You see big Tate Armstrong cutting through the middle. You're playing against really a zone, so you're trying to see that inside. right there. We had to step down. Tate Lacoste comes up the hash, feeds Maddox on the up. He had a step down shot. Unfortunately, it was just right into the goalie's stick.
Again, changing planes is important. That was another high to high. Nice ride by Brophy. And it will be the Broncos' ball. Second opportunity, and that's one thing Coach J.D. Harkey said, limit second chance opportunities for Brophy. Don't give them extra possessions. This is an example of those extra possessions. We'll see if Brophy can cash in.
Yeah, great call right there, Scott. And even though a play doesn't go your way, right? Maddox obviously wanted to see that ball go in the back of the cage, but even though it didn't go his way, both him and the other attackmen were riding really well to get that turnover and get the ball back. So great job by the offense.
Josh Busey trying to take advantage of a short stick matchup. Spire collapsed nicely, recognizing his talents. There, Eli Friedman with a dodge and a shot. And they're testing him high early tonight. But goalie Timmy Winfelder is up to the task.
Yeah, he's seeing the ball really well. So they're gonna have to move the ball to move the goalie off the spot in order to create the shot. Because right now, anything from a step down or a straight dodge, he's stopping.
So Spire on the fast break off the crossbar. Brophy gets possession, being closer to the ball, and here's Eli Friedman over the middle, and a shot and a score. Last time he went down the alley and scored it. This time he faked down the alley, went sweep across the middle on the transition, and beat Weinfelter to tie this game at 2-2.
Yeah, what I like about that is the pass from Harry across and then right down to Busey, and Busey not taking the selfish shot where he could have swept across and shot it, but saw Eli was open down on the cage, passed it down to Eli with a little hitch and go, and buried it. So great job, great team ball, great unselfish, and that's what this team's got to do. The offense has to play unselfish and let everybody feed, let everybody eat.
So transition we talked about was the strength of Brophy all year long. There was a fine example of it.
This is where we need to see that hustle points. We got freshman Kendall long pole number 17 in. That's all right, though. That was great hustle, great two-man game to try to get that ball back, or two-man ball. So excellent job by the freshman Kendall Winston fighting for it.
Spire with 4 out of 5 face-off wins in the early going tonight.
I like how we're seeing the defense when the offense gets the ball even far out and we're pressing out, Scott. The defenders, Zach Lacoste in that particular case, is constantly getting the stick on the player's hands, trying to cause that turnover, but playing under control.
So 2-2 after Spire went out to an early 2-0 lead. Brophy has had 2 goals by Eli Friedman to not to score here in the last 20 seconds of the opening quarter. Let's see how Brophy closes. It was a strength against Chandler. But there, another left-handed goal by Zach Wright, an attackman from Toronto. Beats Baltzel with 15.9 seconds to go, reclaiming the lead for Spire.
I really like how Ben Geist, defensive midi right there, drove the player down the alley, forced the ball down low, back behind X. The player at X for Spire did a great job finding the step down and hitting Zach, and he was able to sweep across with a nice lefty and take that shot. This is where the quick ball movement will help any team, and we saw it right there. Even though our defensive player, Zach Lacoste, was closing in on him, he still is able to catch and take that shot. And any good offensive player, if they're able to get their hands free, they're going to let it rip.
Here in the last second, just wide. Spire looking for a make-it-take-it goal, wins the faceoff. Ball goes out of bounds, but it will be – I'm sorry, it almost looked like they were going to give possession to Brophy, but it's for Spire with 5 seconds to go. Here's Wright again. Does not get a shot opportunity there. And we're done with 1 quarter of play here. Spire from Ohio takes a 3-2 lead at the end of the first quarter. Might be the first time in a long time. I can't remember the last time Brophy was down after 1 quarter. It had to be the ESD game, Episcopal School of Dallas, out in California. But since then, it's been 4 straight wins for the Broncos and jumping ahead in each of those contests.
Yeah, compliments to Spire coming off the bus, so to speak, coming out ready to play, playing fast, playing hard, moving the ball, taking some really good shots. Brophy battling back. They were down 2-0 coming back, and now only down 1. So I like the fight. I like the comeback by Brophy right there. Defensively, Brophy's going to live with that outside shot. Obviously, you want to be able to contest any shot, but the offense is going to score. The offense is going probably to score, and the offense is going to shoot. So the question you have to ask yourself as a defense is, where do we want those shots to come from? Where you don't want them to come from is right in front of the crease. Last couple of plays, they've done a pretty good job collapsing on the crease, driving the Dodger down the alley, making the ball go back to X, and they're living with those shots from the outside. So as Brady continues to get more time in the cage and see those outside shots coming, he's going to definitely stop those, and then they'll live with that. So you play those odds of somebody shooting from the outside. It's like, even though Steph Curry's a heck of a shooter from outside, you're going to live with that. The odds of him making that versus Shaq down low dunking the ball, you're going to take Shaq dunking the ball all day long.
So Spire Academy here, a 3-5 record this season. They played Western Reserve Academy out of Ohio early in their opening game and fell in that contest, as a lot of people fall to Western Reserve Academy. They've also played Archbishop Spalding and Good Counsel from Maryland. Later on this season, we'll play Culver Academy and St. Ignatius of Cleveland on its schedule. A year ago, Spire was 10-12. One of those 12 losses came on this very field to Brophy in a 14-9 Brophy victory. Spire then beat Notre Dame Prep and Pinnacle on its Arizona trip. Tomorrow, Spire will play Christian Brothers Academy from Lincroft, New Jersey at the Shore. And then on Wednesday, Brophy will close out its regular season here against Christian Brothers Academy. This is Corbin Ruschenberg opening the second quarter for Brophy at the Face-Off X. And once again, it will remain a victory, 6 out of 7 for Spire.
That's some tough competition that Spire's playing. That's only going to make you better.
Yes, and it's a young emerging program, only in its second season. The academy in Geneva, Ohio, outside of Cleveland, is akin to an IMG academy where they have people coming from all over the country in order to boost their athletic prospects for college, along with academics. Brophy needs to get the ball in the box. We're not playing the box touch rule, which is a nice thing to have. This is more akin to college, playing with the shot clock, 20 seconds to get it across midfield, then 80 seconds to get a shot altogether.
Here we have Matthew Lightman with that very quick first step. That's usually a really good shot, really good opportunity for Matthew Lightman. That's a go-to for him, and he had the shot just a little bit on the outside, a little bit high, but I liked where he was trying to go. Opposite side of the goalie, top shelf. That was a great idea.
Maddox Ranley from the same top right position. He's closed down and looking to redodge here. You notice Brophy is initiating a lot more offense from the dodge as Spire is more content to move the ball around and find their cutters. It's a different contrasting style in their offense. Eli Friedman gets a slip on the defense, but that was a nice save again by Winfelder, the goalie from Margate, New Jersey, which is right near where CBA from New Jersey, who's sitting over here to our left watching this game. Margate and Lincroft are not far from each other, so perhaps he even knows some of the players that he will face tomorrow. Spire, as you could hear, with the 4-2 lead off that early goal.
That was a nice back cut there by number 4. The defender came out on him, and he cut right behind him, got the ball, took a nice shot wide open right on Brady. Not a lot Brady could do right there when the offensive player is 5 or 6 yards off crease. So nice execution by Spire.
We talked in the open about Brophy's defense being improved on their switches and their slides. That was a case where, again, off ball, fell asleep a little bit and allowed Bardinelli to get his second goal of the game, giving Spire another 2-goal advantage.
Jack Gersoni doing better on the face-off series. Looks like he's figuring it out, and that's something you're facing off. It's not the same every time because you're playing against a different player that they have their own skill set, their own moves, their own techniques. So as a face-off, you're constantly trying to figure out what the other guy's doing. So Jack seems to be figuring him out a little bit and having a good counter to the other face-off's moves. So great job by Jack to be starting to figure that out.
You can hear the raindrops here in Phoenix, Arizona. There's Busey, his first opportunity. Shot saved once again by Winfelder, who is on his game this evening. A nice dodge and move by Busey to get into a prime scoring area.
So even though Brophy's offense seems to be coming more off the dodges, they are there. They're getting shots and they're getting close to the cage.
Transition, once again, Spire takes advantage. That was Liam Lutza, his second goal of the game. And now a 3-0 run by Spire after Brophy closed the lead, to a tie game. And so now Spire has a 3-goal advantage after the second goal tonight by Lutza.
Yeah, Spire doing a great job in their transition, their fast break offense. Very good decisions, very quick decisions, reading that slide and getting rid of the ball very quickly, and great shot placement right there to put the ball low in the corner. Let's see the wing play here from Brophy's. Got to continue to focus on this because Jack's really trying to create that ground ball. There he does a successful job of feeding himself. So excellent job by Jack Grissoni. Smart move there by Busey to pull the back out versus trying to force the shot or force the pass down low.
So Brophy with Eli Friedman running more out of the midfield than the attack tonight. Carter Fitzgerald, number 7 lefty.
I like to see Carter from the wings. He does a really good job of doing that sweep dodge across the middle of the field with his strong left-handed shot.
Lacrosse from X. And Busey now with dodge from the top.
The purpose for the dodge is to make the defense move. What the offense has to do is off of that is the off-ball players have got to move and cut into space so the dodger can feed them for the shot.
And right now that off-ball movement is pretty stagnant for the Brophy offense.
Yeah,
They've gotten the ball successfully to the X position, which is what they want to do if the slide's not there, but then there's no off-ball cutting or movement for the X offensive man to find a teammate.
Yeah, and the reason why you want to get to X, nice dodge by Carter right there. Good collapse by the defense.
80-second shot clock violation for the Broncos there as Spire takes possession. Fourth turnover tonight for Brophy.
Carter had a nice dodge. Something he couldn't get the handle on his stick. Nice defense right from Zach Lacoste to knock that ball down. It should go for Brophy. Yep, good job by Brophy's defense. We're saying earlier, the reason why you want to move the ball to X or behind the cage is because it forces the goalie to turn around. So then when the X attack dodges, he's able to feed someone to take the shot. Good trail check by Spire.
Lutza picks up the loose ball, and he's one-on-one unabated to Brophy's goal, and it's a 6-2 Spire lead. 4 goals in a row for Spire. And back-to-back goals for Ryan Lutza.
So Brophy's got to stop the bleeding here. As the defense is bringing the ball up on the transition, the other players have got to get open so that the player with the ball can get rid of the ball. And we're not seeing a lot of movement right now, even on our transition. So normally we do. Tonight we haven't seen a lot of it. So we need the players who don't have the ball to start moving again to open spaces. So when the defenders are bringing the ball up, they can hit that person.
So Spire was the team who flew in from Cleveland, Ohio, but they looked a fresher team, and Brophy looks the team that's a little bit jagged and jet-lagged a little bit themselves in terms of the player movement and overall energy on the field. Another face-off win by Spire.
Nice pick by Maddox Ranley right there to pick it off. Tried a little BTB, but that didn't work, and Brophy's able to get the ball, see if they can push here. They're going to decide to slow it down because Spire was able to get back on defense and stop that fast break. But excellent job by Maddox Manley. So another great dodge. He got to the hole. He was able to take the shot. It's just the goalie, Timmy, made a great play.
Weinfelder with 5 saves in the first quarter and another pair here in the second quarter. Eli Friedman with the rollback lefty, finds the corner, stops the bleeding for the Broncos with halfway through here the second quarter. Nice move by Eli Friedman.
Yeah, that was a great dodge, and there's not a lot you could do as a defender. He totally stopped them going down the alley. He took away his right, but a player like Eli with that left hand like we talked about earlier, if you have a left hand, if you have an off hand, it sure comes in handy, and right there, Eli with a great rollback and sniped that left corner. So excellent job by Eli.
Much needed goal for the Broncos there as the momentum had clearly shifted towards Spire. And now we have a violation on Brophy. And that will give possession to Spire. And the faceoff X is 8-3, giving Spire all these extra possessions that they talked about, and Coach Harbison talked about in the pregame, the need to be 50% from the faceoff X and control possessions. And right now that is not in Brophy's favor.
Yeah, Brophy needs to stop right here just to get that defense confidence up. And that was a nice low to high shot right there. We talk about changing planes, Scott. That was an excellent example of changing planes. He shoots low, rips it top left corner. So that was a great shot, a great play by the wing attack.
Set up by a two-man game. So they drew the slide there, and the defender was in no man's land, and his man was wide open. So a nice play by Spire to recognize that. He had an open man on the wing with a shot, cranked it home, 7-3 Spire.
Yeah, the two-man game is probably as old as the peach baskets in basketball, and it still works true to this day. The nice thing about a two-man game, if it doesn't work the first time, you can go right back to it, and a lot of times it will work. It creates that confusion between the defenders because they have to not only move, but they have to talk, and they have to communicate. So Spire did a great job with that two-man game, finding the open guy and taking a nice shot. Nice job by Ben Geist to stay with that player, to stop that fast break and force them into a 6-on-6.
Dane Helt on the defense for Brophy. And the ball was thrown high. It will go across midfield. They didn't call an over and back, but Busey gets the ground ball.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. The reason why the defense wants to play that strong that attacking is if they can move the ball and force them to move the ball more times than none, it's going to result in a turnover. So right there we saw a perfect example that forced them to continue to move the ball. Third or fourth pass ended up in a turnover. Brophy trying a two-man game of their own. Hits
nice
the cutter.
feed. Nice feed. Eli Friedman with a beautiful cut across the middle. Ranley found him in the high hub there, and the shot just went wide. He was going across his body there.
So, Scott, that was a great play. That was a two-man game with a cut-off ball. It was perfectly done. Nice pass. Again, the goalie made a good play and made Eli change his direction, but it was still a great play. It's a two-man game on one side with a backside cut, and there's Josh Busey with a feed from Tate Lacoste from the assist for the nice shot. Again, that ball movement, the off-the-ball movement is so critical. I know we sound like a broken record, but when Brophy is able to do that, they can put the points on the board.
Ball movement, player movement, very key. And there it results in a goal for the Broncos, 7-4 here with 4:39 remaining in the second quarter. And as long as Brophy can move the ball and move their player and move their feet, they're going to be in good shape here. Getting a faceoff win is critical here to try and take it, and get back in the game. You need to get some chunk plays and some chunk runs here. Let's see if Grissoni can get this faceoff win here and give Brophy another opportunity. Yeah,
they got to get the energy. They got to start playing a little bit more with some passion out here, playing a little flat. Like to see some turnovers. Great interception by freshman number 38, Nashur, down to Tate Lacoste, number 5. So let's see. They're going to pull it out. They're going to yell yellow, which means slow it down, let the subs come in. Again, they're moving the ball well, and they're doing a pretty good job from an offensive set perspective. You got to give credit to their goalie, Timmy. He is making some really good saves out here. Brophy is still subbing, so they're going to move the ball around the perimeter.
Carter Fitzgerald, a lefty with the ball. Excuse me, that's Alex White, number 1, his first action of the night. A freshman, mainly plays attack. Here he came out of the box. Busey running up top. Gets a step. Nice fake, a la a box fake, which all these Canadians from Spire are used to. But he didn't take the early shot. He was patient to get the goalie out of position until he had a clear advantage. And then he took the shot for a 7-5 Spire lead.
That is a very high IQ, on the run, in the heat of the moment play by Josh Busey. What he realized was the slide wasn't coming. So when the slide or the double team comes, you're taught as an offensive player to move the ball. Why? Because that means somebody else is open, especially on the backside. Right there was no hot slide or there was no slide, so he was able to switch hands into his left and then finish. So really good job and very good take by Busey.
Corbin Ruschenberg on the faceoff for Brophy, trying to calm down the hotness of Ami Macbeth.
Yeah, and sometimes you want to throw a couple different faceoffs at a guy to mess him up, right? We talked about that earlier. You kind of get in the zone working against one player. Well, if you throw a different faceoff again, different techniques, different strengths, and so that's what Brophy's trying to do with two different faceoffs attacking him. Got the goalie out of the cage, so if they can get the ball, they'll have a wide open cage to shoot it. But he's going coast to coast.
No one's stopping ball.
And there we go. Zach Lacoste can get that ball. Cause turnover by Zach Lacoste. Excellent job. We're going to move the ball fast because we still have an open cage. Unfortunately, there was a turnover there. Great cause turnover by number 3, Zach Lacoste, to get the ball, try to move the ball quickly. Had an opportunity. Here we go. Brophy going to set up in their defense. Good defensive stands the last couple of times. Let's see if they can keep that up.
So Spire with a 7-5 lead. Brophy scored the game's last 2 goals. And now Spire with a turnover here. And let's see if Brophy can have a successful clear. The last 2 opportunities have resulted in a turnover to Spire.
You got to capitalize on the unforced turnovers. Again, that was the 3rd pass, and it was a turnover. So it seems to me if Brophy can force them to pass the ball 3 to 4 times, they're going to increase those odds of a turnover. Great dish by Brady. Here's Zach Lacoste going to take it across the field. Looking for it, and he finds his brother, number 5, Tate Lacoste. So 3 to 5 right there.
Timeout for Brophy with 2:30 remaining in the first quarter. That's their first half, their second timeout of the first half. And what Coach Harbison is saying is, hey, we haven't played all that well. We've given the ball away. We haven't won any faceoffs. But now we have an offensive possession. It's 7-5 down. I want to make sure that we get a great shot. 61 seconds left on the shot clock, 2.5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. I want to set up a play. When we've set up plays, they've resulted in opportunities here tonight. Oftentimes, Brophy, coming out of a timeout, has run into some static and unforced turnovers. Tonight, we'll see what we get out of this turnover.
Yeah, that's an area that they have cleaned up. To your point, that's been a struggle through the probably first half of the season. I would say the last 3 or 4 games they've cleaned up coming out of a out of a timeout to be able to, quite simply just make the connection and make the pass and get into their offensive set. To your point, Scott, great call by Coach Pat to call the timeout, to settle in. Defensively, they've made it stop the last 3 or 4 times, caused some turnovers, got the ball back on a clear. So they're starting to wake up a little bit on the defensive side and play that tough defense that we saw the last 3 games, and forcing Spire to have to move the ball around and then collapsing on their players. So really good job there. The offense, they're getting their shots. I don't have the number of shots on my fingertips right now, but we are taking shots. Brophy is taking the shots, and that's a kind of a Coach Pat thing. That's a Brophy, mantra is they're going to shoot the ball. So the issue is Timmy, the goalie for Spire, has played really, really well, making some saves and forcing the offensive players to kind of change their angle more than they usually do.
So here Brophy will start from the top. Eli Friedman looking for a high dodge. He gets a step. They slide early on him. And here's Busey with a face dodge. Trying to get his hands free, but does not.
Wow, what a shot by Josh Busey. And sometimes you look at it and go, man, he's covered. Why in the world is he taking the shot? Because he's covered. And what I mean by that is he's using the defender as a obstacle so the goalie can't see him. And so the offensive player, as long as he can get his hands free to shoot like he did right there, the goalie can't see where he's releasing the ball. So it's actually to the offensive player's advantage to use him to block the view of the goalie. So smart move, great shot, great execution by Josh Busey.
Much like I didn't think his hands were free, neither did Winfelder in the cage, but he did get his hands free, had a wraparound shot, and now we're at 7-6. So we're right back to a 1-goal game. And there, a nice save by Winfelder. So 7-6, and here comes Spire in transition. 3 of the 7 goals for Spire have been in these unsettled situations. So as you mentioned, if Brophy can get back down into a 6-on-6 set instead of giving up these extra unsettled opportunities, they're going to be much better off as this game transpires.
Yeah,
We're at 140 left in the first half.
Yeah, sorry, Scott. I really like that was a freshman face-off winning it. Corbin Ruschenberger taking the ball straight down, made the right decision to hit the wing. Down to Tate Lacrosse, had a nice shot. Goalie again made a great play. So Tate really ripped it in there, and kudos to Timmy with a nice shot. But yeah, to your point, getting back and settling on defense has been the key this last 4 or 5 trips down for Spire.
So Spire with 46 seconds on the shot clock here, plenty of time left. This is Zach Wright, who has a goal early on. Shot wide, but third opportunity here for Spire on this offensive possession.
It's tough for a defense to give an offense 3 attempts, but again, they're forcing that outside shot. I don't know if that ball was meant to get that skip pass, but it ended up being a skip pass, and that's how he had the open shot.
Bardinelli shot wide. Shot number 4 here for Spire. Already had 3 shots in the first 55 seconds of the shot clock.
I like Brady's movement on that. Seemed like he tracked the ball really well right there, Scott. And again, if you're a defense, you're going to live with 12 to 15-yard shots.
Bardinelli on the wing dodge. Nice defense. He went over. He's over.
That's
midfield.
over.
It should be offside.
It's offsides. It should be a turnover.
That's a turnover for Brophy, and Harrison Yu will ignite the offense here with under a minute to play in the first half. Give Harry some room and look out. He finds Busey. Busey with a hitch. And now we're at 40 seconds to go. Lacoste with a shot and a goal. We are tied up at 7 with 37.5 seconds in the first half. 4 straight Broncos goals.
Rear back and let it rip, number 5, right there. And again, same thing that Tate just did. So the freshman learning from the senior. Busey just did it a second ago, and here's Tate learning from the upperclassman, saw that he could use the defender as an obstacle, as a blocker, if you will, in front of him. Hands free, rip. That's what any offensive player is going to say.
So Brophy right back in this game, which was once a 7-3 deficit, a 6-2 deficit, is now tied up almost at the break. So we'll see what happens if either team can move ahead here before the break. Corbin Ruschenberger with the face-off win.
Corbin is feeling it.
Over to Lacoste again, save
nice
by
save.
Winfelter there. We're under 30 seconds to go, and the ball is loose, and Winfelter picks it up. A little misconnection there, and now Lacoste with the pickup. 19 seconds to go. Brophy feeling it right now. Maddox Ranley over to Friedman. Friedman with 3 goals already in the first half. Lefty shot wide. We're at 5 seconds to go.
So the clock stops. You got 4.8. It's a long time with Lacrosse. You can make a pass and a shot.
Lacoste to Busey. Shot goes wide, and that's the end of the half. Well, in an action-packed first half, a tale of 2 quarters, and now we are tied at 7-7. We'll be back with more action here from Brophy. what once seemed like a Spire control of the game has turned the tables as Brophy scored the game's last 4 goals over the last 4.5 minutes. 3 goals by Josh Busey and a late goal by Tate Lacrosse has the game tied at 7-7 entering the second half. In goal for the Broncos for the second half, we'll see Ryan Peitzmeyer in cage after Brady Baltzel handled the duties for the first half, so the Broncos will see their starting netminder back into play. An area they will need to shore up is the faceoff X, as Spire holds an 11-6 advantage in faceoffs. Corbin Ruschenberger, the freshman, who's a talented race car driver, has fared fairly well in his duties here this evening, and he will take the opening faceoff of the first half. 3 goals for Eli Friedman, 3 goals for Josh Busey, and the aforementioned goal by Tate Lacrosse.
Let's see this half if we can get more offensive players to score. When we get 7, 8 guys in the books for putting the ball in the back of the cage, that bodes really well for Brophy.
Broncos start off the second half with possession after a face-off win. And let's see how the Broncos come out. Here's Tate Armstrong with the ball. Also Ben Geist. Matthew Lightman right now with the high dodge. Nice little rollback. Gets in possession. Lefty shot and a save by Winfelter, who had 10 saves in the first half.
Yeah, goalie Timmy is playing really, really well. I like that take by Matthew Lightman, staying with it, taking the hit, switching to his left. Just got to probably look to put the ball in the corner, but great job and great take by Matthew Lightman.
Spire 6 for 6 tonight on clears, but here Brophy takes advantage of a turnover, but turns it right back over. And here in a quick move is Zach Wright in an easy one-on-one situation. Peitzmeyer didn't have a chance. Off the turnover once again. That's Brophy's 6th turnover of the night, and that's resulted in 3 Spire goals.
Yeah, that was a little uncharacteristic. We usually don't see that type of a turnover by what we call the low or the close defenders. They're usually been pretty good about getting the ball out to the sides or hitting the midi, cutting down what we call hunting for the ball. So unfortunate turnover right there for Brophy, but let's see if we can bounce back here with a good face-off win.
Spire with the face-off win.
Good job by the Brophy defense to stop that fast break, even though Spire was able to clamp and go, forcing the Spire to stay in their 6-on-6. And this is typically where Spire will struggle. They've been struggling with their 6v6.
So Brophy had a nice defensive play last time around to strip the ball and take possession. Unfortunately, gave it back to them on the clear, and Spire has a 1-goal lead. But there, we got to watch the guys in the middle. Again, that's at least the second time tonight. A guy in the Spire player in the high crease has been wide open. There, the shot did not make it to the cage, but here's Bardinelli again, trying to feed the crease for Wright. Knocked down by Brophy. A crease violation, and now Brophy will get possession. Here's Maddox Ranley in transition for the Broncos. A flag on the play for not going 5 yards. So Brophy will either score or have a man-up opportunity here and wisely slow it up.
Yeah, much better job by the defense on that last play to crash the crease. There was a good slide to stop it. Good take by Matthew Lightman to go down the alley. But earlier the defense was able to slide, force the pass. Probably shouldn't have tried to feed into the middle like that again. But again, force the turnover with a good slide.
So Brophy will have a 30-second man-up opportunity here at the 9:46 mark of the third quarter. Brophy 0 for 1 this evening on man-up.
This is definitely a place where you want to capitalize. Anytime you're man-up, it goes without saying, but I guess I'll say it anyway. You're playing 6v5, so you have the advantage as long as you're patient and everybody is moving and you're finding the right player for the right shot. Again, we do have a shot clock tonight, so they can't take all the time off the clock, but if you play it well, there's always going to be somebody open.
So here's Ranley from the top. Shot did not make it to the cage. The run out. They give it to Spire on the run out. It's a good hustle by Spire defensively.
Great hustle play by Spire. This is something where Brophy takes a lot of pride in, is their hustle. I mean, you had 2 Brophy players sprinting for the out of bounds too. It's just great job by Spire.
Spire with the clear here and the successful kill-off of the penalty.
So Brophy's defense clamping down again. Last couple of times have been really good defensive stops. So the defense is starting to hold their own here the end of the second quarter and going into the third. Good recovery by Zach Lacrosse right there to get back, beat him to a spot, force the attackman to take the ball wide, and then force him to pass the ball down to attack. So good job, didn't let him get to the middle here.
Spire resets from the top. A nice cut there, but nice block down by Dane Helt on the defensive play. And now Brophy will reset from their deep on their goal line.
Even though the cutter was open, Dane did a great job of not giving up on it, and he was able to stop that ball. Nice pass into Zach from Taub. Good clear by Brophy. Oh, nice feed from Zach inside to Eli. Great stop by Timmy, the goalie, again.
Winfelter with 12 saves now, but unfortunately off the quick save. Here comes Spire. A shot and a goal by Bardinelli, his 3rd of the night. It's a transition, a problem for the Broncos tonight. A great save by Winfelter, who initiated the offense, and we're looking at a 2-goal Spire advantage.
And I'll do the transition offense by Spire. So kudos to them. They know their strengths. Their strength is getting out fast breaking and moving the ball hot and finding the player that's close to the crease. And they've done it multiple times tonight, and that's really where a bulk of their offense is coming from. So if you know what you're good at and you can do it, that makes a big difference. Brophy's got to get better at stopping that transition. Obviously would have helped to score there, but that transition D has got to step up. 5
of the 9 Spire goals have come in transition or unsettled situations. And here another face-off win for Macbeth, who's writing his own story tonight.
Yeah, you like the fight from Jack right there. Even though he lost the face-off, he still worked hard to get it. We have a turnover here that should go to Brophy.
I don't know what they're waiting for the whistle for, but Brophy gets it on the over and back. Busey restarts here.
Nice feed by Tate Lacoste to Tate Armstrong for the goal. Great assist right there. Great decision to feed Tate Armstrong. I liked how Tate Armstrong stepped into that and rifled the shot right in the low corner. So great execution.
So Brophy takes advantage of a Spire miscue there. Being patient with the ball. Finding the open man in Tate Armstrong, his 6'6" frame. We just finished the Masters, so you can understand what it's like with someone with that big windup and the velocity and torque that he can get coming back. Kind of like Rory McIlroy on the drive, not so much on his wedge shots, though.
Yeah, I'm not much of a golfer, but I take your word on it. But yes, anytime you have a 6'6" with another 40 inches of pole or of a stick shooting the ball, that's hard for the goalie to pick up. So Tate Armstrong uses that to his advantage. Nice wing play right there by the freshman Ashur to get the ball into the offense. So excellent job. That wing play is something that Brophy has relied on all year, and they're going to need it for the rest of this game to get back in head and take control of this game. Brophy has yet to lead this game, and so I think Brophy needs to work to get to that 10-9 and then start to look back. Usually, Scott, Brophy starts to pull away in the third quarter, but kudos to Spire. They're hanging in here in this third quarter.
2 unsettled situation goals. Nice. We've seen that before. Braden Duck to Tate Armstrong. Braden Duck, number 22, a freshman. First time we've called his number tonight, but a beautiful dodge from X, drawing a slide and passing cross crease to an open man. That time, Tate Armstrong for 2 straight goals for Tate in under a minute.
They like to put number 22 back there because of just that, his quickness. What you don't realize, or unless you scout, you don't understand that he can go to his left really well. In fact, sometimes I think his left is better than his right. You complement that with his unselfish play to not shoot the ball, draw the slide, make the great dish.
So Duck wears number 22 in a tip of the cap to Michael Sowers. So a shifty, slight, two-handed attackman is his idol, and you can see why with that play that he made on that last goal.
Yeah, not a bad guy to idol on Mikey Sowers with that quick first step that he's got.
So ball game tied up at 9-9. Spire
I'd like to
Oh,
see.
nice little run out by Ryan Peitzmeyer. A missed shot by Spire, but the good hustle play by Ryan Peitzmeyer. He gets to the end line first. Brophy will take possession, looking for its first lead of the game with back-to-back goals.
So that doesn't show up in the scorebook or the stat book right there, Scott. But that athleticism and hustle by Ryan is game changer right there. I'd like to see earlier for the defense to collapse and go to body and send a message to anybody that comes in the side. You're not going to last too long. That's what Brophy's got to get a little bit more physical on the inside, Scott.
So here's Braden Duck starting from up top now. 6 minutes to play midway through the third quarter. Once again, Duck will take it to X, which is behind the cage and looking to initiate from there. And there he did. He did it again. He drew a slide. Beautiful pass to Friedman. But once again, the doorstop save by Timmy Winfelter. That's save number 13 for him.
Looks like they're resetting the clock, the shot clock, because it was a shot on goal, so it should have reset, is I think what he's trying to say.
I'm not sure what the stoppage is because it was reset to 60 seconds.
But earlier, going back to what the offensive coordinator here for Brophy is trying to do is get the ball behind cage, does a couple different things. Obviously, they're playing a two-man game. You saw that between Carter Fitzgerald and Braden Duck. It also makes the goalie have to move, which has been successful for them. So you're probably going to see a lot more from that, and then probably from the wing, not so much dodging up top.
So they ruled that it was not a save, that it was stopped before it got to the cage. Nonetheless, a turnover for Brophy results in Spire ball. An attempt to find a cutting player, just a little misconnection. And here, 10 seconds to get the ball across midfield. It's going to be a tough one for Spire to do. Oh, Brophy had the turnover there, but a loose ball push gives Spire the ball and the opportunity to clear as they get a reset of the shot clock, or at least the time that it takes to get over midfield. And so what looked to be a Brophy possession is now Spire ball, but Josh Busey did not give up.
You like the hustle there earlier by Tate Lacoste to try to get the ball straight up in the air. Tate Armstrong come through. Unfortunately, I think he tripped and basically pushed the Spire player. So, again, good attack, good rides right here. Great play by Josh Busey and Tate Armstrong to force the turnover. Again, if you're not going to make the play first time, don't give up. Keep trying, keep working hard. That's a great example of what a strong ride will do. Excellent job by Brophy attackman.
So Lacrosse is a complete game on offense and defense and in the middle. They often talk about special teams. That is a special teams play. When you're playing defense and the opposing team is trying to clear, stopping them. And that was the first time that Spire has had an unsuccessful clear all game. And Brophy looking to take advantage here. Josh Busey against a short stick. Ball passed out, but it looks like it's going to get saved. Probably didn't need to swipe it, could have just scooped it, but here comes Spire, unfortunately. They have numbers. This is Zach Wright. He finds Rowan Edwards. Toronto to Toronto connection, and again, this time Spire takes advantage of a Brophy turnover for the 10-9 lead.
Yeah, that was unfortunately miscue right there. Wasn't able to connect the pass. Thought we were going to probably be able to get that ball back, but kudos to Spire for the hustle. Move the ball again in transition, and once again it's got another goal coming off at transition. So if Brophy can slow those down or minimize those transition goals, they have an excellent shot of pulling away with this game. Good wing play there. Jack fighting for his own ball. You got to like that. Corbin was facing off, but Jack coming in from the wing, pressing the ball right here.
Don't shoot it.
Moves the ball very wise rather than taking a shot, especially against this goalie. He's seeing the ball really well from outside. So good job by Jack to move the ball to their midi on the side or the attack and set up the offense.
Ben Geist takes it back behind the cage.
Ben Geist has had a lot of success dodging that left alley this year, Scott. I've really liked it, but that was a great decision. Just move the ball to X and see if you can get something on the backside. Tate quickly moves it over to see if there was a step down. There wasn't, so again, they're going to try it again.
Geist up top. Finds it, cranks it, scores it. We're tied again at 10. Ball movement from Josh Busey to Tate Lacoste behind the cage. He brought the ball from up the crease, found an open Ben Geist. Time, room, score.
Yeah, when you can dodge and draw that slide, as long as the other players, your other teammates, are moving to get open and getting their feet ready, a great passer like Tate Lacrosse right there making a great feed up top. Ben Geist was ready. That's the key, especially against better defensive teams. If your feet aren't ready, in that ready athletic position to catch and rip, you're not going to get that shot off. That time Ben was ready, his feet was ready, his stick was ready, Tate hits him in stride, and Ben just delivers a blow.
No defender within 7 yards of Geist there. He recognized that, got set, and found an open spot in the cage. Here, Jack Rossoni again. He's not working his way from the faceoff, so he's on the wing, battling hard, and 2 straight ground balls for Rossoni to give Brophy the possession, and now they're looking to take the lead for the first time this evening.
Ground balls wins games, Scott, and I tell you what, you got to love Jack. Maybe not having all the success that he wants.
Oh, beautiful pass from Lightman to is that
Carter Fitzgerald right in the middle. There should be a push in the back, I would think.
It's definitely flags on the play, so Brophy will go up, man up, looking for its first lead of the game. But great team ball there.
Yeah, what I was mentioning earlier, Scott, is even though Jack may be struggling a little bit from the face-off, he's still working hard for his team by playing the wing and getting those ground balls. So kudos to him for that hard work and that hustle.
That's contagious. When you know your teammate is having a tough night in one aspect, but he's working his tail off in another to help the team and getting 2 big ground balls, that picks the energy of the whole team up and say, you know what, if he's doing his part, I can do mine.
Absolutely, and I love lacrosse because I call it a redemption sport. Good decision by Eli to move the ball up top. They're just looking for the open shot. They're looking for the guy who's going to be open in the crease. Oh, nice
Good ball
quick pass. Nice pass right there. We're seeing some great ball movement. Great ball movement. Tate Armstrong's shot went a bit live, but those are some quick touches with the ball. That's the ball staying in their stick maybe a quarter of a second.
That's what they need. That gets the defense moving. Eventually they'll find an opening that will go. There's Busey. The shot saved by Winfelter for save number 14.
Yeah, Tate Lacrosse with a great feed inside. Again, the goalie made a great play. Love the defensive stand right here where Zach's coming up to try to stop that ball from the transition. Again, we talked about it. If you can stop this Spire team from transitioning to a fast break, you're going to increase your odds of winning the game.
So under 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. We are deadlocked at 10-10.
Great job by Harry to force him down the alley, forcing that ball to X, forcing the skip pass here. Got to stay on the crease.
This is an important part for the Brophy defense right now, not to get caught ball watching, but to watch your man as he cuts to the cage. And there it is. Zach Wright, they called him in the crease. But again, that's the defense that Brophy needs to be careful of because Spire is quick moving off the ball.
Great decision by Zach Lacoste just to take the ball and go.
And he drew in offsides.
Yep.
So Brophy will have a 30-second man-up situation if they do not score on this play right here. Here's Maddox Ranley.
Yeah, the benefit that Brophy has is all 3 of their close D can take the ball 100 yards and go across the field. That's a real advantage for this defense that all 3 have the athleticism to go.
Under 1 minute to play in the quarter, 40 seconds on the shot clock, so a 12-second differential. Brophy will get a man-up situation if they don't score here. Here's Geist, gets a step to the middle, but he cradles into traffic. Oh, drew another flag. So Brophy will be up 2 men. We have 37 seconds remaining in the first quarter, so we'll have a 30-second offside penalty and then a 1-minute slash for the Broncos. So the offense that Coach Harbison will design probably to get an early shot and try and get 1 in before the end of the quarter.
Yeah, offensively, again, this is probably the 3rd or 4th time we're seeing the ball trying to get back behind the cage. They've had a lot of success with drawing the slides, making the goalie, Timmy, move back and forth, and then finding either the step down or the cutter. So now it may be a little bit different because they're man up. They're going to be looking for the crease. Earlier they with the man up. They were finding the crease player really, really well. But when they're in a 6v6, I think we're going to continue to see the offense starting from behind cage or from the wing.
So 6-on-4 for Brophy. 6 offensive players, only 4 defenders. Quick ball movement will beat this defense and find an open person with a quality shot. And there it is. Beautiful play on cue. Tate Lacrosse cuts to the middle. Josh Busey finds him from behind the cage, and Brophy takes its first lead of the game, 11-10.
Yeah, that was very, very well executed. 6v4, so it's to be expected you score, but you still got to go ahead and execute, right, Scott? And so there you saw the off-ball movement. Once again, the ball starting behind cage. You're making the goalie having to turn around quickly, and as long as you shoot it ball fast, like what Tate did right there, the goalie doesn't have enough time to turn around, get his bearings, find out who's actually got the ball, and then stop it. So it's exactly why you do it. The other reason why you do it from the wing, if you can dodge from the wing, is you can hit the skip pass or the cutter or the offensive player flashing up from X on the pipe.
So under 30 seconds left, and Brophy wins the faceoff, a key faceoff to have the last possession of the third quarter.
Corbin is playing really well at faceoff. I love his grit that he's got going on. He's recovering from a little bit of injury.
15 seconds left. Lacrosse with the shot just wide. Brophy will get possession with 9.0 seconds to go. Brophy has won the last 3 faceoffs, all with Corbin Ruschenberg at the X. Can Brophy take a 2-goal lead here into the fourth quarter? Busey, muscling his way in there, finds a shot, and a goal! 1.4 left. Brophy 12, Spire 10.
Woo! 1.21 gigawatts right there, Scott. That was a beautiful move by Busey. Again, another curl move, another rollback, using the defender to block the goalie's view and sniping it. Love to see that. That was a really, really nice shot. When it tried to go inside first, couldn't quite get to his left. Busey can shoot with his left. He's obviously more comfortable with his right, but he set the rollback up, which was really nice. Used the defender to block the goalie's view and put it in the back of the cage.
1.21 gigawatts. That's not enough energy for what Busey just injected into the Brophy offense with that goal. We were once 9-7 Spire. Spire scored 2 goals to start the third quarter when Anthony Bardinelli scored his 3rd goal of the game in transition to give Spire a 9-7 lead. Since that point, Brophy has gone on a 5-1 run. Tate Armstrong with 2 goals. Josh Busey with a goal, that last one. Tate Lacrosse with a goal, and Ben Geist with a goal. Tate Armstrong, the big lefty, back-to-back goals to tie the game at 9, and Brophy has had control since the final 12 minutes upcoming. But Brophy a lot better on turnovers in that third quarter, aside from the beginning part of the quarter. Once they settled down, they started to win faceoffs, started to limit the turnovers, and played better on D. Not perfect on D, but better on defense. And that's been the recipe for this quarter, where Brophy scored 5 goals against only 2 for Spire.
Yeah, that's been pretty typical of Brophy in the third quarter. Again, kudos to Spire. This is one of the first games in a long time where somebody has hung with Brophy in that third quarter. That third quarter going into the fourth is usually when the train is going at full speed, and they usually start walking away or pulling away from other teams. So you got to give credit to Spire. The goalie Timmy Winfiller is playing phenomenal. We've seen two games in a row with the goalie play has just been incredible. So he's playing really well. Brophy's defense has reduced or limited the transition fast break plays and off and goals, and so that's been the key. So you haven't seen Spire score as much out of their 6v6 in this third quarter, and they reduced those transition or those fast break, which has been a key. They do need to play a little bit tougher on the inside. I think they're playing a little bit too much with their stick instead of sending a message. And in lacrosse is a physical sport, so you can hit, within reason. So they got to go to the body when you're inside like that, and they have to get in front of the cutter and deny the cutter, because Spire's doing a good job trying to feed that cutter. If they can get in front of the cutter and deny him the ball, it's really going to cause problems for Spire.
So Brophy had 12 shots in the third quarter alone, resulting in 5 goals. Corbin Ruschenberg at the faceoff for Brophy. Called for a push there, and it will be Spire ball. First possession of the fourth quarter as Brophy has a 12-10 lead.
I think you'll live with that push. You obviously don't want it. You don't want to break any rules or get penalties. That being said, you like the aggressiveness, you like the assertiveness, rather than just giving the opponent the ball. They worked hard for it.
So Spire there. Now we'll work it from X. That's Zach Wright, who's got a pair of goals tonight. Finds his teammate Liam Luza. We haven't called Luza's name in a while, but that is his fourth goal of the night.
So this is what we were just talking about. Zach Lacrosse does a great job turning the offensive player back towards GLE, which is ideally what you want to do. We need the cutter, whoever's playing the crease man, to step in front of the cutter so that pass is not there. Again, all the credit in the world to Spire because they're cutting really, really well. They're getting to the open spot, and they're feeding them. So all you have to do is step in front of that cutter so he can't get the ball.
Defender there either has to go or stay. The defender took a step like he was going to go, but then didn't. No man's land, and Spire took advantage.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a hard hit by Spire. A little tougher there. Spire out-hustled Brophy on the face-off with the wing play and result in the face-off win.
Yeah, definitely got a rugby scrum going on, it seems like, at face-off. Good cause turnover right there by number 3, Zach Lacoste. That's one reason why Brophy will pressure, because they get those sticks in their hands. So nice cross pass from Zach to Tob to clear the ball. Excellent. Zach Lacoste playing a little quarterback out there. Tob, I thought Tob was going to unleash it. Usually when you get a pull down by the cage, they're going to let it rip, but Tob decides to give it to his attackman.
Made the smart move to pass it off and get into a 6-on-6 set. They called an offside on Brophy. I'm not sure why. There are 3 men back. So not a great call there. It cost Brophy possession. Beautiful save by Peitzmeyer.
So the strategy there was they weren't going to slide. They were going to give the outside shot, and they're going to trust their D1 commit to Utah, Ryan, to make that stop. What a save by Ryan.
Ryan Peitzmeyer came in the second half. 2 big saves on that possession to ensure the 12-11 lead stays.
And the defense plays more confident when they know their guys got their back. And so right there we're starting to see it. Nice clear by Zach Lacoste. Ooh, we got a little bit of what we call a yard sale out there. Nice play by the Spire attackman.
So Spire not giving up. I'm not sure what the call was there, but it will be Brophy possession. 10 minutes to play here in the final quarter. The ref blew the whistle, but then didn't blow the whistle. So, again, I'm a little unsure what's going on here.
Tate Armstrong able to get away from that. That was just a little bit unsettled. I think Ben was not shooting that. He was trying to hit the cutter. I don't think he was shooting it right there.
He wasn't, and that's why it's Spire ball. 11 turnovers for the Broncos.
So unfortunate there because they did have numbers to be able to score on that fast break.
First time ground ball comes up empty. Spire will take advantage. Shot and a goal. Transition goal again for Spire. Knots it up at 12. Game has been helter-skelter here for the fourth quarter, and that has resulted in 2 Spire goals to tie the game up.
Yeah, one of the few times that the Brophy did not get the ball in the first attempt, and unfortunately that cost you right there. And again, Spire scoring on a fast break or on the transition.
7 of 12 have been transition goals for Spire. That has been the difference in the game. So Brophy needs to shore up, and again, that's coming off of a turnover. That's at least 4 goals that Brophy's given up off turnovers. And there, Brophy goes early. 3 for 3 face-offs in the fourth quarter for Spire. So Spire wanted to take advantage and get the early start to the fourth quarter.
That's a great trail check by number 17, Kendall Winston there that caused that turnover. And then a I don't think that was a...
It wasn't. The ref from the backside is calling a violation. There's going to be a huddle. He's calling a loose ball push.
I was going to say, because if that was a shot, which I thought it was, Ryan was certainly the closest one. That should have been goalie. But if they called a push, then rightfully so, that would stay with Spire.
So a little overreach by Brophy defense, taken advantage by Liam Lutza. He's the Drexel University commit out of Toronto. His second goal of the quarter, 5th of the night, gives Spire a 13-12 lead. First time Spire's led since the 4:16 mark of the third quarter.
So probably a little miscommunication. I don't know. The player who was supposed to be the hot slide did not slide, and so if you're going against a player like that, he's, they're trained. They're going to go to the rack. They didn't see the slide. He's going to take the shot. We didn't have the slide on there. If the slide was there, it would stopped it.
Here's Macbeth. Save by Peitzmeyer. That should be a push from behind, but it wasn't.
Great job by Ryan with the save. Again, they're going to live with that, making him shoot outside like that.
Failed clear for Brophy. Another turnover.
Great recovery from Brophy right there. Ryan loses the ball, but, great save to get out. Slips, loses the ball, was able to get back into cage. Good defense there by the inside attack or inside defenseman to get the ball back and hustle. So what could have been a disaster, it turned out to be Brophy's ball.
Turnover on the ride for Spire. In transition, Bardinelli with the goal. 4 straight for Spire.
Yeah, so
8 of 14 in transition off of another turnover. Broncos need to take control of the ball. If they take control of the ball and keep it in a 6-on-6 game, they're looking good.
Yeah, unfortunately right there, the defenseman, Zach, trying to clear the ball, got past this guy. Unfortunately, didn't curl his stick in front of him, and so there was a trail check to cause that turnover. And again, that's going to be hard for Ryan to make that stop.
And now the faceoff's back in the favor of Spire. Ball in the crease, a turnover on Spire. Brophy will gain possession here. It's still only a 2-goal deficit, so as long as Brophy stays composed, 8 minutes to go here in the game, plenty of time left. But Brophy needs to shore up some inefficiencies here. And there's another turnover on clears. Uncharacteristically, Brophy now has turnovers on their last 3 clears, and it's been 3 straight goals for Spire.
Yeah, defensively getting the stops. What's hurt them the last couple of times is just the turnovers on the clear right there. Thought potentially we could kind of try to clear it ourselves or move forward versus trying to make that cross-field pass. But it resulted in a turnover and a fast break for Spire. So kudos to Spire for capitalizing on these turnovers. But to your point, Scott, Brophy is playing. They're playing sound defense. It's just the turnovers on the clear. So take care of the ball. Treat the ball like gold. Take care of the ball. Get it back to your offense. Let your offense go to work.
Zach Wright with his 3rd goal of the game for Spire. Brophy wins on the faceoff violation.
So this is not a time to play frantic. To your point, we have 8 minutes left in the game. That's an eternity in lacrosse, especially when you're playing with a shot clock. Neither team really is taking too long to shoot the ball anyway. Both their offenses are not geared to hold on to the ball like a lot of teams will do that. They'll hold on to the ball for a long time and play basically for one shot. That's neither one of these teams' strategy. So you got an eternity of time here to score.
Brophy needs to play with some little more urgency. Busey shot and a goal. Josh Busey.
Leave it to your leaders and upperclassmen to do their job. And right there, Eli, rather than forcing something or running into a double team, made the pass. Busey takes control with his legendary wing step down rip. So great shot by Josh Busey. Let's see if this gives Brophy that spark that they need. We just need to have a little bit more confidence on the clears to get the ball over to their offense. Their offense has proven in the second, now in the second, third, and now moving to the fourth that they can score.
So stops the bleeding here with 7:29 remaining in the game. First 5 goals of the fourth quarter went to Spire. That one to Busey, and here's Harrison Yu. He's a shotgun out of the mix.
Great wing play by Harry right there. Just so quick to get in there, scoop the ball off, and try to force that fast break. Decide to pull it out. Alex White, number 1, freshman and behind cage at X, working the ball around.
So Brophy content to move it a little bit. This is Eli Friedman playing from up top. Early slide, which gives Brophy a short stick matchup on Eli Friedman. He's going to look to take advantage. He gets to the middle, shot. Save. Again, shot up high, and Winfelter's up to the task, not making him move for save number 15. And now they are in transition. Timeout for Spire there with 6:41 remaining in the fourth quarter. Tim Winfelter, 15 saves, a quick outlet, gives Spire the advantage to go back upfield. But Brophy not making him move, and and shooting the ball right at his stick gives Winfelter that opportunity to get Spire in transition.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta tip your hat to Tim. He is playing definitely very, very well. Again, Brophy's got to do against a really good goalie is you've got to make the goalie move off their spot. When you're dodging downhill like that, a lot of times you're not making him move. He's tracking the ball really well. Now, what Brophy tries to do up top like this, especially when when Eli or whoever's starting with the ball at the 35 or 40, they're trying to give him a lot of room to use his speed, which he has, to get downfield. It typically will draw that slide for a pick and pop, and that usually does open up a lot of different opportunities for them. So I can see why they were trying to do that. And then to your earlier point, anytime Eli is going to, you have an offensive player like Eli get a short stick versus the pole, he's going to try to take advantage of that.
Where Brophy has been successful tonight is ball movement and finding the open spot on the field offensively. The dodging and drawing has not been their strong suit tonight, has not resulted in as many opportunities as moving the ball.
Yeah.
Gotten away from that a little bit. That's what propelled the Broncos to that 12-10 lead. But in 3 straight goals from Ben Geist, Tate Lacrosse, and Josh Busey.
Yeah, I would say the dodging, it's worked well when Brophy's dodged from the wing because, again, there's a few different options. There's the skip pass, to get the goalie to move. There's the cut or the two-man game, and then there's the player from X flashing up to the pipe. And then the dodge from behind the cage has worked really well, too. Dodging from up top has not worked as well for Brophy tonight.
So Spire out of the timeout with 6:20 remaining in the game. Nice save again by Peitzmeyer, his third. He's kept Spire off the board to the best of his ability.
Yeah, again, Brophy wants to live with giving an outside shot.
But there a dodge. Beats his man. That's Zach Wright, his 4th goal of the game. The lefty from Toronto just beat his man, found an inside opportunity, and put it past Peitzmeyer for the 16-13 advantage.
Yeah, not a lot that the Ryan's going to do when we let an offensive player get within 3 to 5 yards from the cage. This is where we definitely need that slide from the crease. So it looks like Brophy is trying to slide from the crease. If that happens, you have to slide early. Spire has proven to be able to finish the ball inside, and we want to force those shots from the outside, not the inside. So better slides inside, and again, said it at halftime, but like to see a little bit more slide in the body versus the stick.
Dane Helt from the wing scoops up that ground ball for the Brophy face-off win.
Yeah, excellent job. You got to like that wing play. Dane, number 19, working hard. First-time scoop opportunity.
No flag called there. And the ball will go to Spire there. So Spire in transition. This is where they've been dangerous all night long.
Yeah, again, they're going to allow that outside. They didn't really slide to him. Todd did what we call show, like he acted like he was going out to slide. He came quickly right back, and so that offensive player feels like he has a shot. Again, he does have a shot, but those are hard to score against a goalie like Ryan. So they're going to give those ones up from the outside. So good job by Ben Geist forcing him down the alley. Kendall did a nice job to slide, and then Rico back to get back on the shooter and to force him to change his angle a little bit.
Peitzmeyer got a piece of that one, so the shot clock reset for Spire. There's Bardinelli. Oh, nice face dodge.
Much better physicality right there. That's what I was talking about. Brophy's got to get physical inside when Spire's trying to attack that middle. You got to send a message, you're not coming into my house.
That was missing on the previous plays, but a beautiful play there defensively by Aiden Ashur.
Yeah, the two freshmen, Aiden Ashur and Zach Lacoste, attacking there right there.
Shot wide. That is Brophy ball. Another nice run out by Ryan Peitzmeyer. Gives Brophy possession of the ball. 4:42 remaining here.
So Ryan helping himself out. Again, that athleticism, a lot of people don't view a goalie as being an athlete. You got a guy like Ryan right there, any other goalie, that may not have been Brophy's ball, but because of his ability to move, he was able to save that ball. Great clear by Zach Lacrosse to Harry. Get it to Harry in transition, see if he can push it. But Coach Pat's going to call a timeout setup because they're going to definitely need to get a goal here on this sequence, Scott.
Timeout Brophy with 4:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. Broncos trailing 16-13. Need to stop the bleeding here and get a quality offensive possession. There have been a slew of turnovers here on the offensive side of the ball in the box, and Coach is going to say, let's run a play. Earlier, they ran some plays that worked to perfection, including the one on the 6-on-4. They've also had some other plays coming out of the timeout. They moved the ball around, gotten the ball to X, and then had the offside cutters, have resulted in quality opportunities coming out of the timeout. So that's what he wants to emphasize here. The 15 turnovers by Brophy, not a good way to play the game. That is too many turnovers, both on the offensive end and the defensive end, that have yielded in some of Spire's 16 goals.
Yeah, the combination between 15 turnovers and the way that Spire's goalie Timmy Winfelder is playing, that's a recipe for success for the Spire Lacrosse Club. So definitely moving forward, Brophy has got to look to reduce those turnovers. And unfortunately, there are a lot of unforced turnovers, Scott. That's something that you kind of have control of. It's one thing if the defense is forcing you or playing really, really strong defense on you, but that's not the case all the time. So that combination between the high turnovers and the way Timmy's seeing the ball right now for Spire, that's translating into what we're seeing right now is a 16-13 lead for Broncos. So good test for the Broncos, good test for Brophy right now. 4 minutes and 27 seconds left for them to see if they can come back at home and finish strong.
Leading into the playoffs, I'm sure a little slice of Pat Harbison is not upset with the team facing some adversity here and having to have them battle back in a 3-goal deficit here toward the end of the game. Not that you ever want to lose or be in a situation where you're behind, but if you're looking at the big gain and the state championship upcoming in a few weeks for the Broncos, having this situation where you have to face a little bit of adversity and a little bit of fight and a little bit of grit is not a bad situation. Eli Friedman cradling a lot, but kept control and found the opening man on the far side is Josh Busey. Moved the ball.
Be wise. They have 25 seconds left in the shot clock. Plenty of time. Good decisions not to force the shot. Again, move the ball, move off ball, look for the right player that has the right shot. 12 seconds left in the shot clock. Busey is definitely looking for someone.
Friedman misses with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Again, the offense got a little stagnant there, Nate. Not as much ball movement, a little too much cradling. That costs time. It also allows the defense to set. The weak side guys can get in position to ensure that they can help out their defender who's on ball. And that is almost a power play situation for the defense in those scenarios.
Yeah, it's a momentum builder for the defense. And you got to give, again, kudos and compliments to Spire on their defense. They played tough. They played fundamental. They played disciplined, and they didn't go for any fakes, so to speak. They stayed in their lane, and they played great defense. Usually Brophy's been in that situation, able to come up with the ball. That time they didn't, so Spire maintains control. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left in the game. Brophy definitely needs to get a stop here to get the ball back to their offense.
So 16-13 Spire with the ball. Up top, open man coming in from the box. Shot high, will remain Spire ball. Again, Brophy needs to be careful not to just ball watch and to pay attention to the weak side off-ball movement.
That's a legal screen.
Moving screen there on Spire. He gives the ball to the Broncos with 2:35 remaining, and see if Brophy can have a successful clear and get the ball into the offensive zone to cut that 3-goal lead to 2, make the game much more manageable. Look to win a quick one at the face-off X. Aiden Ashore goes across midfield.
Good job by Aiden not to get frantic. Good job by Todd to get back over. Good job by Harry to stay back over so we didn't have two offside. So really good job by Aiden. Last time he tried to cross pass it, it was a turnover. This time he just kept it and went strong. Very good move by Aiden.
Brophy has to move a little bit. It's a 3-goal deficit. They can't waste too much time here. Maddox Ranley with the shot. Alley dodge. Cross. Goal. Score.
Yeah, and Maddox right there with a great dodge, nice jump shot. One of the reasons why this was able to go in is, fortunately, there was a Spire defender that blocked Timmy's view, so he couldn't see the ball as Manley was taking the shot. So that was very, very fortunate. But again, that's what you're looking for against a goalie like this, is you've got to create different scenarios where he can't see the ball. You either move him or you have screens and you shoot around him.
Another face-off win for Spire. That's been an Achilles heel for Brophy tonight. 5-2 face-offs here in the fourth quarter for Spire, as Spire erased a 12-10 deficit at the third quarter with 6 goals here in the final frame, limiting Brophy to only 2. And that is where we are now at 16-14. But face-offs and turnovers have been the problem for Brophy, is in addition to transition defense.
So Brophy's going to play what's called heavy. They're going to try to get out on their players.
Unfortunately, the heavy pressure took too many Brophy defenders there. An off-ball cut for Spire resulted in a Spire goal with 1:17 left.
Yeah, that was a big goal by Spire. Nice job by Spire to attack the middle of the field right there. Again, that's the downfall with pressure. Now you have to do this defensively at this point of the game because you're down 2 and with only a minute and 30 seconds left, so they're trying to create that turnover. Unfortunately, the downside of that is it creates a long slide, and that's what happened, was able to feed the ball and take the shot. So great ball movement by Spire. They executed when they needed to execute. Jack Grassoni with the win. Let's see if Brophy here can finish.
Busey with the shot wide, but it will remain. The run out is called for Spire on that one, so the team in black with a 3-goal lead will also get possession of the ball with 1 minute to play. So successful clear for Spire, a shot wide. 53.2 remaining, and Spire does not have to shoot the ball the rest of the way if they do not choose. Up 17-14 with 53.2 seconds left here.
So Brophy's going to try.
But they do shoot it. Ball goes wide.
I'm not quite sure why Spire would do that, even though maybe the offensive player thought he had a shot. The smart thing to do would be to run the clock off. You're up by 3 with 45 seconds left.
And that's why Coach Harkey is calling timeout to settle his team down and say, hey, guys, if they don't get the ball, we don't lose.
Right. So if we're able to save that ball or keep that ball in play, it could have been a transition. You never know. That could have led to a fast break and a goal. You're down to about 35 seconds. You win a faceoff, you can go down and score again. Win the faceoff, you can go down and score again. So even though the odds of that are lower, it definitely happens in this sport because you can play basically make and take it from the faceoff. That hasn't happened a lot tonight, but it still can happen. So the reason why you would want to kill the clock here if you're Coach Harkey is probably exactly what he's telling them right now is Spire doesn't need to score. They're already up with 3 with 45 seconds left, and they have no shot clock. The shot clock's off. So all they have to do is hold on to the ball and not turn the ball over.
So for Brophy, next up for the Broncos is their regular season finale here on Wednesday night. Faceoff will be at 6 p.m. The game has been moved 30 minutes earlier. The game is at 6 p.m. on Wednesday against Christian Brothers Academy from Lincroft, New Jersey, down at the shore. So join us if you can't make it out here to the Brophy Sports Complex. Join us here on APN Video as we bring you Brophy Broncos lacrosse. And then we're on to the Arizona State lacrosse playoffs. And Brophy will have the #1 seed in the playoffs and a first-round bye, take on the winner of number 8 versus number 9. Those pairings will be announced later on this weekend. It is still Monday, so still some ALL action remaining to be played, including the number 2 and number 3 team in the state. Desert Vista will take on Chandler. The winner of that game likely to have the number 2 seed and a home field should those teams play each other in the semifinal. So that's still to come. Brophy will close out its season again against Christian Brothers Academy. Christian Brothers will play this Spire team tomorrow night. It's a Spire player, scores with 29 seconds to go on an open goal and decides to dance a little bit.
Well, they're just excited to be out here in the sunshine, or now it's dark out here, but they're excited to play out here. And last year when they came out, they were not as they didn't win, and they didn't play as well as they did play tonight. So, really Spire is growing as a program. They came out here tonight, and they executed when they needed to execute, and had some great play from the goalie position, and their transition offense was excellent.
So Spire, give them credit for the fourth quarter. It was 12-10 at the end of 3, but Spire turned it on here in the fourth quarter and secured the win when Brophy had hustled back on its own, showing their grit.
Yeah, and as a coach, you're going to like to see at least that Brophy is playing to the final seconds. No matter what, they're going to play hard. They're going to play to the whistle. And, they're going to learn from this. And to your point earlier, you have a little bit of adversity. You don't want adversity necessarily, but when it's there, you're going to embrace it, and you're going to learn from it, and you're going to grow from it. So I think this is something that Brophy's going to capitalize on and use to their advantage moving into the playoffs. And for every season, the goal is to win the state championship. It's games like this, adversity like this, that helps, keep them real, keep them humble, and allows them to learn, to grow, and to go win that state championship.
So the final here tonight, Spire 18, Brophy 14. We're going to turn it in for tonight, but we'll see you here on Wednesday night and then get ready